Harambee! Eneo hili si hivyo. Mambo ni matatu.
Ladies and gentlemen, good evening and welcome back to our channel once again. Allow me to begin this video by asking you guys some two important questions. But I want you to answer the first question because it's going to form the basis of this analysis. Assuming we go for an election today in the Republic of Kenya, and in that polling booth, you are provided with a ballot paper. And in that ballot paper, there are only two names: William Ruto and Fred Matiang'i. Who do you pick as the next president of the Republic of Kenya? I want you to pick either one term or two term or no term in case you won't vote for either of the above. Let me read your answers below because it's going to form the basis of this analysis. Ladies and gentlemen, the second question I wanted to ask you: who, in your opinion, today within the political circle, is William Ruto's biggest threat in 2027? I want to give you a list. Is William Ruto's biggest threat Rigathi Gachagua? Is William Ruto's biggest threat Fred Matiang'i? Is William Ruto's biggest threat the third force? Is William Ruto's biggest threat Kalonzo Musyoka? Who is William Ruto's biggest threat in 2027? Again, allow me to answer for you that question. In my honest opinion, William Ruto's biggest threat in the Republic of Kenya today is none other than Fred Matiang'i. Why Matiang'i? In 2027, removing William Ruto from office is very easy. But two questions are always being asked. Who can remove William Ruto from office? And can the opposition agree to front a single presidential candidate? Because if opposition were to agree to front, let's say, a single candidate, then William Ruto can easily be removed from office. Then the next question is who? William Ruto's 2027 game plan is very simple. Consolidate Rift Valley, consolidate Northern Kenya, then protect Raila Odinga bases. And the game plan is focusing more on the Western Alliance. Which means if the opposition were to produce a presidential candidate who will be able to consolidate Western Alliance, William Ruto will be going home. And the only person who can do that is none other than Fred Matiang'i. And that's why, for those who've been following the politics of the Republic of Kenya very closely, William Ruto's focus now has shifted from Mount Kenya. It has shifted from Eastern and is now focusing more on how to tame Fred Matiang'i. In this video, I want to reveal to you guys the strategies which William Ruto is now trying to use to try and tame or destroy or crush Fred Matiang'i ahead of 2027 presidential elections in the Republic of Kenya. Whether he's going to succeed or not is something we can't say as at now. But before we get into all those details, for those who are watching this channel for the first time, please take a second or two, click that subscribe button so that next time we produce a video like this, YouTube will automatically notify you. And to the subscribers, I want to continue thanking you guys for your continued support. Because without that support, this channel cannot be where it is. Ladies and gentlemen, let me just go back a bit. The only reason why Ruto fears Fred Matiang'i is because of the Western Alliance. Let's say today the opposition agree that they are going to front Rigathi Gachagua as the sole candidate. Rigathi Gachagua has an advantage. He will come with the numbers. But can those numbers translate to presidency? That's Swalanyeti. And if that person were to be Rigathi Gachagua, chances are William Ruto will be able to easily consolidate, for example, Western Alliance. Now, assuming they settle on Kalonzo Musyoka, again, there's a high chance that the Kamba nation and the Kikuyu nation will vote together. But what about Western Alliance? Because, for example, Mount Kenya is already decided. But if they were to pick Kalonzo, but if they were to pick Matiangi, and that's the point, chances are that Mount Kenya will vote the way they are going to vote. The second chance is that Kalonzo Musyoka will be on the ballot. And then the chance is Matiangi has a chance of competing with William Ruto in Western Kenya. And that is where the problem is. So he has developed strategies. The first strategy which he has developed is that he's trying to lock the Luo nation. He's trying to isolate Matiangi. Matiangi comes from Nyanza, just like Raila Odinga. When Raila Odinga was running for the presidency of the Republic of Kenya, his first backing was from Nyanza as a region. Now, Ruto is making it very difficult for Matiangi to actually find his footings in Nyanza. And that's the point. Because he believes that if he locks Matiangi out of Nyanza, then Matiangi will not come out as a Nyanza candidate. He will be projected as a Kisii candidate. Which begs the question, what is Fred Matiang'i's game plan for Nyanza? Because that's a discussion Matiangi should start having as we speak. When was the last time Matiangi was in Nyanza? When was the last time Matiangi was in Nyanza? Does he have his support base? Like, for example, if I go to a funeral in Nyakach tomorrow, can someone just stand from the crowd and say, Mimi ni mtu wa Matiangi? So for me, before embarking on his bid, Matiangi must figure out how it's going to concentrate and penetrate Nyanza. He should not assume. That's number one, the first strategy. And Ruto is doing it, by the way. Ruto is focusing on Nyanza. Ruto is making it very difficult for the Luo nation not to vote for him. Because perceptionally, Ruto is bringing more development to Nyanza. Just for the sole purpose of convincing the Luos that you are part of government and that you are in handshake, but nothing really tangible. So that's number one. The second strategy, let me just read for you this one here. It was in the daily, it was in the Standard. There's a story here why Ruto wants Matiangi rising stature in Nyanza clipped. It states here, a meeting of professionals from Gusii region was called at a Nairobi hotel to rally community behind President William Ruto and frustrate efforts by former Interior CS Fred Matiang'i, who in May declared interest in the presidency at 2027 presidential general election. The Standard has also learned that government-allied politicians and senior government officials led by Deputy President Kithure Kindiki have been touring the Nyanza region to stave off political threats emanating from Matiangi Uhuru era Mr. Fix-It. So for those who've been keenly following the political development, there's been a lot of activities in Luo Nyanza, even in Gusii community, by the government, because they are scared of Matiangi. It proceeds here. The Nairobi meeting was called by Education CS Julius Ogamba, where attendance was mandatory. The CS, in no hold-barred approach, impressed upon attendees why it was paramount to use all available resources to support the election of President William Ruto. Those in attendance were gravely warned of unspecified consequences if they supported Matiangi financially or in kind. In short, Matiangi is being starved of resources. I've always told you that 2027 presidential elections in the Republic of Kenya is going to be the most expensive presidential election in the Republic of Kenya. Matiangi has the goodwill, just like Rigathi Gachagua when it comes to campaign funding. But William Ruto and the team are well aware. So they're telling, because, sometimes when you run, like if Matiangi is running and they are goosey professionals, senior government officials, they would want to chip in a bit in the hope that if the guy succeeds, then they'll be somewhere. Now they're being told, if you see that, your days are numbered. So in short, he's trying to starve Matiangi of resources. I don't know how Matiangi is going to go about this, because the truth is 2027 presidential election is going to be the most expensive election. People will eat money and they are waiting for it. Number 3, there is also another strategy targeting Mount Kenya. The truth is, Fred Matiang'i can only become the president of the Republic of Kenya if he can win the support of the mountain. But what are we witnessing in the mountain? A war has erupted between Uhuru and Rigathi. Rigathi is the kingpin there, who is a former president. Matiang'i is viewed as Uhuru's project. So which means Rigathi can actually decide to lock out Matiang'i and Uhuru Kenyatta from the mountain. If that were to happen, William Ruto would go and sleep with his shoe somewhere in Masai Mara. He'll be a very happy man. So that Mount Kenya factor is also trying to ensure that it's also going to ensure that they will not be united, to an extent that even if it will mean sponsoring Rigathi to run, Rigathi will be sponsored. And number 4, and this is something which I've really gathered, William Ruto and Raila Odinga have agreed to reactivate ODM networks across the country. Next month, ODM party is going to have one of the biggest political events this year in the Republic of Kenya. A celebration never witnessed in any political party. They'll be marking 20 years since ODM was formed. The truth is, that event is going to be used to reactivate ODM networks across the country. Because William Ruto has realized that the only way he can win the support of Raila Odinga supporters is by activating and reactivating the ODM networks. So that if Raila will agree that they're supporting Ruto re-election, then ODM will find it easy. Ruto will find it easy. They're going to use ODM structures. The effect of that is that if ODM is reactivated, it will be very difficult for the supporters who will be supporting ODM to now support Matiang'i, who will either be running on Jubilee Party or another party. And lastly, Matiang'i must be prepared for serious propaganda war. He's now been identified as the only threat to Ruto. State propaganda tools are going to be unleashed on him fully. So let us wait and see how all these things are going to pan out. Until that time, this is Lee Makwiny. Bye-bye.